What's up, everybody? Today we're talking budget tips. I'm going to give you 5 tips to film a doc on a small budget. Let's do this. So here's the truth about budgets for any type of film. You're never going to have enough. I don't care if you're a feature Hollywood film or a small indie project, a small documentary. It doesn't matter what your budget is. You're always going to not have enough because that's filmmaking. Things are going to pop up, surprises are going to happen, and we can do our best to plan for that, but that's just the reality. So the doc that I just wrapped up, we did have a smaller budget for it, and if you want to learn more about that project, go watch my last video where I show the trailer, go a little bit of information about that particular project. But we had a smaller budget, and I know films have been made for way less than we had and for way more than we had. The reason why I say that we had a small budget for it was because my proposed initial budget, we ended up having to do it for less than half of that. That's just the way it goes sometimes with working with nonprofits. But I just wanted to put that right up front that, we did work on a significantly smaller budget than we wanted, but we were still able to make something super amazing and something that I'm really proud about. I'm not going to say specific numbers just for sake of the privacy of the nonprofit that we filmed for, but I wish it could have been higher. Probably could have done a little bit more with it. Okay, I do want to say a few things about doing projects for free or cheap. Number 1, only do it if you're just completely psyched about the project or the story. That's just like a non-negotiable. If you're not pumped about it, don't even do it. Number 2, I think that you should only do that project if you think that it's going to bring value to your business or bring in additional work as a portfolio piece. And I was confident about those 2 things. That's why I took this project, just because the story is just amazing, and at the end of the project, I really think it had a huge impact on me personally and grew me as a filmmaker, so I think it was an absolute win in my book. All right, so let's talk the budget tips. Number 1, plan. Just plan as much as you possibly can. Because we were tight on money and the client had to fly in for the production, we had to limit production to only 3.5 days. And the only way something like this, like a 15-minute doc, that's going to work is you have to have these days, these shoot production days, just completely planned out just as much as you possibly can, and then having some pickup time. So that's what our half day was, that last half day, which was the actual day that they were flying back home. So we had to just have everything planned out as best we could. With something like this, there's just absolutely no winging it. You can't do that because you're wasting time, you're wasting money, and it's just not professional, and you're just trying to just prioritize every resource that you possibly have, so just don't wing it. So what that looked like for us is we took about 4 months of pre-production on this project, of just pre-interviews and storyboarding, scouting locations, gear prep, gear tests, lighting tests, everything, because we knew what we had to accomplish, and so we put in the work before production, and that's the only way it's going to happen. Just a quick side note about pre-production. I'm going to do a whole video on the pre-production for this project, but I'll just say I couldn't have done this without Milano. This is not sponsored, but just Milano is a huge lifesaver. Saved me so much doing just all the pre-production, storyboarding, and call sheets for crew, everything. Just did everything in Milano. All right, tip number 2 is get creative with locations. So I didn't have budget to rent locations and stuff, so we had to get super creative in how we used it and how we leveraged the relationships to get access to certain locations, but we just had to get pretty creative. We shot outside a lot, and when we were in super heavily public areas, we just kept our gear footprint as low as possible to still achieve what we wanted to, but not be a big nuisance, since we didn't have just the time or money to get permits or rent spaces that we needed. So in this doc, we did have 4 main indoor scenes, just 4 different locations, scenes that I wanted to play out in the film, and we got them all for free. We got really lucky, really blessed to get that for free, but that all came down to just tons of work, tons of scouting, tons of pre-production, tons of just conversations I had to have with friends and other relationships, and asking people and seeing if people would just be open to letting us use their space. And we just got super lucky with that. So if you get a no, which we did, we just got either ghosted or told we couldn't use the spot, and that was fine. We just kept going and going until we found a spot that worked for us. So I would say just don't give up because someone tells you no. Just keep asking, just keep trying to find the location, because if you can find the right location, that's going to help your film so much. So yeah, it did help that we were filming for a nonprofit. So I always mention that when having those conversations, and that definitely helps people just being completely open to helping us. We actually filmed in an active deli at lunchtime, which, you know, it was a risk that I took. We just kind of showed up and I talked to the manager and just got really lucky with that one, and they were completely fine with it as long as we bought lunch for the crew afterwards, and we were going to do that anyway. So that was a huge win for us. That's a whole nother thing of like filming audio and everything while there's a whole bunch of people going on. I think it turned out really good. So I might do a scene breakdown of that. Yeah, let me know in the comments if you're interested in seeing how we pulled that off. Tip number 3 for filming a doc on a small budget is find crew that are passionate about the story. So I did have to keep my crew really small, and my crew was absolutely amazing. They killed it. I was only able to pay them like half of their normal rates. All of us had to play multiple roles in this production, but the reason why they did it is because they were just psyched about the story. It really just came down to me as the director communicating my vision, my heart for this story, what this story was going to be. And they all just like, man, we have to do this. This is really cool. So I got really lucky. I have some great friends and people that were just like, yeah, let's make something really cool. This is just another reason why building your network and just continuing to meet people in your industry and meet different people in filmmaking is so important, because you never know when you're gonna have a dope project like this come along and you just need some help. And you know, people in this industry are just generally just awesome people. All right, number 4 is ask to borrow gear or rent super cheap. Luckily, I had some connections that allowed me to borrow all the gear that I needed that I already didn't have. I used all of my gear and then was able to borrow a bunch, so that worked out great. Once again, this comes down to relationships, man. I know I keep harping it in the last video and this video, but that's really that. It just, be a good person. Be a good person to work with. Don't always be asking for things. Be a person that gives also on their projects and helps them out when they need help. If you have that network, it's just gonna pay off, I promise you. Now, I will say, if you don't have these relationships, if you're new to an area or you're new to the industry or whatever, you don't have all of these connections with all these people with gear that I'm lucky to have. But I will say, find a gear rental house in your area. Pitch them your idea, pitch them your vision. If you have a strong story, especially if it's for a nonprofit or something just really inspirational, they might get behind it. They might be like, yeah, absolutely, we'll give you a little bit of gear, or we'll rent you a discount or something like that. Just reach out, and either way, you're starting another relationship. You're starting a relationship with some really cool people. All the gear rental people that I've ever met are just super cool people, and just be a nice person and pitch them your vision and see what happens. All right, lastly, number 5 is take your time. Do not rush the process. Just make sure that you have given yourself the proper time for pre-production, for production, for post, for everything involved. Just make sure you've given yourself the right amount of time. Now, I will say, if you're doing a project for free or cheap, your client absolutely needs to know this. You need to communicate to them that you're doing it at a discount, and you're doing it because you're psyched about the project, you want to help them out, and they should know that, so that they don't pressure you on the time commitment. Because you are doing it for cheap, you are going to be doing a lot of the work or all of the work yourself, and that's just going to take more time. Time is money. And just make sure that you just take the time that you need, and don't let anybody pressure you or push you when it's just not ready. Just continue to build a good relationship with your client. Position yourself as an authority. That respect is going to come once you show them the good work, once you are on set with them, you're professional, you're doing everything, going above and beyond. Yeah, just be a good person. All right, so I'm gonna give you a bonus tip here, and it's save a little bit of money if possible for crafty. I'm just saying, your crew's gonna love you, the client's gonna love you. Just save like 50 bucks, go out and buy some water bottles, get some granola bars, get some Gatorade, get some just different snacks that you can take around from different locations in a cooler or something. Dude, your crew is going to love you if you do that. All right, so there's a lot more I could say about this topic, but I think that these 5 tips are the most important when approaching a smaller budget for a doc or any type of film. So if you have any other comments, any other suggestions, leave them down in the comments below, and yeah, let's talk about it. Let's help each other out. So that's all I got. See ya. Peace.